Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Sports Talk with me, Ricardo. What's going on? I hope you're having a blessed day, man. I'm having a blessed day. Uh, there's a lot of things we could, could be thankful. There's a lot of things to be thankful for. No days off, no sleep. Anyway, man. I'm at my son's football practice right now. So getting ready for the season opener on Saturday. They lost the preseason that they played on the other day. So it's the coach decided, hey, let's put up another game tomorrow. So we have a game tomorrow. They playing to get ready for Saturday, man. So anyway, before we talk about the greatest teenagers, of all time, the guys who came in the NBA as a teenagers and dominated, on the NBA still. But before we talk about that, Michael Beasley, there's a lot of things I'm gonna say allegedly. You gotta say alleged because certain things you gotta, when you have a platform, a lot of stuff. Whether they're factual or not, whether they are factual, you can still be sued. We are good lawyers. We are good lawyers, but you don't want to waste time on that. Don't want to have time for that. And I think that was the situation for Shannon Sharpe because when he settled, I'm not saying him and the girl didn't do what they did. It was two consensual adults. But when you settle, most time you settle because you don't have time, which is a situation for Shannon Sharpe with the girl. Settled our money. That was a dumb move. But hey, he didn't have time to eat. There's a lot of stuff he has cooking, and those clients, with the exception of ESPN, Disney fired him, but those clients wanted to know, hey, what are we doing? So you did that. So we don't have time. So I'm gonna reference Michael Beasley, not Malik Beasley, no relation, but Michael Beasley himself. I'm gonna reference him. I'm gonna say alleged to a lot of things. Some stuff I can't talk about, but still. Anyway. You look at Michael Beasley, two-time Big Three MVP. All right, the league MVP. That Big Three MVP is the Big Three. It's a league that Ice Cube created. His intention was to rival the NBA, but the NBA is so big. NBA is so big, so you're not able to do that. But still, Michael Beasley, solid defender, solid player, right? I had the window open, the wind blew something in my eyes, but I'm not gonna edit that. Right? Michael Beasley, great player, solid player, who averaged 14, 15 points a game, 4 or 5 rebounds a game, 3, 4 assists a games, 5 to 6 rebounds a games, 2 steals. Great lockdown defender. Whom I would love to see right now. Like I said, my team's Orlando Magic, right? I've said it many times, but I would love to see him going somewhere like the Lakers right now, playing with the defenders that they have, the guys they have. But Malik Beasley's not going to get that opportunity from any team because allegedly, this is where the alleged, you dropped the alleged. Allegedly, Michael Beasley dealing with mental illness. Michael Beasley have allegedly have a lot of problems. Michael Beasley allegedly in the locker room the off the court stuff, behind the scene stuff, allegedly, he's a terror. Dealing with him is difficult. You watch Michael Beasley on TV, you can see what he does. You can see how he acts, right? Watching him on TV, you can see how he acts. I'm paying attention to my son. They're warming up, so I'm still watching. I'm gonna get off of his in a minute to just focus on that. But anyway, watching Michael Beasley on TV, you see the antic, you see how he is. That's on camera with lots of editing. I'm a little shiny right now. I put some coconut oil on me. When you got beautiful skin, man. Hey. Anyway, you know what I mean? Yeah, but you see a lot with a lot of editing. You see how he is, the antic, all the stuff. Now, Michael Beasley have a lot of time, right? Let me tell you. Okay, when you go, you have a lot of people in the organization that work somewhere else. They were working somewhere else. They were working for different teams, various teams. They were in the bottom. I'm a little tired, so I won't edit it. I'm keeping it as is. But they were working for other teams, and those guys have gone to bigger things. They're promoted to higher positions, where the coaches and in front office. Those guys remembered how you were in the locker room. Allegedly, Beasley didn't respect staff, from security to the cooks and shit, all of that. Allegedly, Beasley will come in the locker room, because they have food, they have stuff. He will ask for certain things, allegedly. And what he wrote, they cook exactly what he, allegedly cook exactly what he wrote. And allegedly, Beasley didn't. He will come to Michael Beasley will come in, take the food allegedly and toss it. This is not what I asked for. And security had to be called many times, allegedly. They had to show him, hey, this is, it used to be verbal. Hey, can you make me this, to the point where they had to make him write it. And to show him. So this is allegedly, that's the mental illness. That's all the stuff, the schizo, bipolar, all the stuff allegedly he's dealing with. And as I said to you, if you watch Malik Beasley on TV, you can see he's clearly has a problem. I'm not a doctor to but you can see from the naked eye, you can see he has a problem, right? They will tell him certain things, showing up to practice. Now on the court, he's an assassin. He's one of the, to me, one of the greatest one-on-one player I've seen. See Michael Beasley playing one-on-one with certain people. Other great players. He make them look like they're nothing. The myth. He said when he beat LeBron James badly in one-on-one, that was like the young kid says to cap. It's all cap, man. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you say to yourself, a guy with such talent, a guy with such floor presence, defensive mindset. When you talk, let's say there's a lot of guys who say they're defensive specialists, like Patrick Beverley. It just all smoke and mirror, man. Patrick Beverley, so-called defense is more chatter. All right, it's more chatter, stuff he says, but can't back it up. You know what I mean? Dylan Brooks is a better defender than Patrick Beverley. To be honest with you. Yeah, to be honest with you, Dylan Brooks is a way better defender than Patrick Beverley. But hey, it is what it is. It's all smoke and mirror. But but still, when you look at a player like Michael Beasley, who can be great, and no one given the opportunities, because those people remember, the people who were in the bottom remember the intake. Like, sometimes you're like, wow, this is a great player, great talent, but do I want to put myself into that? Right? Someone come look for a job, but they forgot that you were there. You were in that position of power now. You say, well, wait a minute. Would I want to deal with that now, as the player that you are, you're in the position that you are? Would I want to deal with this day in and day out as a general manager, as an assistant coach? He's liable to, allegedly to spit in your face. Allegedly he's liable to throw food at you. Allegedly, he's liable to trash the locker room. Allegedly trash the locker room. Allegedly spit on your face. Allegedly throw food at you, even though this is what he ordered. Hey, this is exactly what he wants you to, how you want you to make it. Allegedly, you know that. So you saying to yourself, would I go through that? Now you're in a position, you're the assistant GM, you're the assistant coach, you're the head coach, you remember Beasley. Like I said, a guy with such talent, why not give him a job? You know what I mean? I remember, I don't know where I was, and I don't remember who it was from the Lakers front office, and I said, hey, why not give Beasley a shot? They're like, come on, man. They said, well, he's a great player. He is a great player. He's a solid defender. But it's the other stuff. It's the other stuff. You know what I mean? It's the other stuff that you have to deal with him with. Am I gonna put myself in that? But anyway, man, So I for a player like that, I would love to see him with the Lakers right now. He's gonna push the players. You know what I mean? He's gonna push the player that you know what I mean. So for the first time I'm seeing DeAndre Ayton stepping up to want to play. Having Michael Beasley there, man, the guy would compete. He would come off the bench. That's the other problem. Allegedly, that's the other problem. When it's time, the coaches allegedly would already talk to him in terms of what they the responsibility, all the stuff that they're asking him to do. You know what I mean? But it's just like, would he want to do? Would he want to, step back? Would he want to take a step back? When it's time they ask him to come out of the game, allegedly, to sub, there's an issue. You got to deal with all that stuff. The difficulty you got to deal with it. But anyway, man, yes, so you wonder, a lot of people wondering, hey, why isn't Michael Beasley in the game? Why he's not playing? He should be in the league. But it's the other stuff you gotta deal with. You know what I mean? You gotta deal with the other stuff. You know what I mean? Anyway, man, the greatest point guard. I have a list. They talk about the greatest point guard of all time. Of course, I saw the list of they ranked the greatest point guard of all time. Let me put the name out there to see if you have an issue with that. What do you think? You could respond, write me, whatever. We'll go through that. But Magic, of course, hands down, the greatest point guard of all time. Magic Johnson. And that's a no question. It's a no-brainer. You know, Magic has done so much in a short window, 5 championship in a short window. I think that if it wasn't for the age stuff where the league wanted him out, if it wasn't for that, Magic could have done so much. People are talking about, you know, I think no matter what, you know, Jordan fans still referencing Jordan because, you know, the Jordan brand, the Nike brand, Nike used Jordan, you know, for the hood kids, the kids from the hood. That's what it is. You know what I mean? The kids from the hood, you know, Nike used Michael Jordan to be able to for these kids. You know what I mean? You know, to wear those sneakers and it doesn't translate. It don't match up the same. The kids from the hood are out there wearing those brands, so Nike using them. You know, so they use Jordan. You know, for the hood kids. That's all. But no relevance, man. You know, he doesn't do anything for these kids anyway. Yeah. So Magic is the greatest of all time in terms of point guard. You know, it's a shame that when they talking about the greatest player ever, you know, of course you list, of course you list, you have LeBron number 1, you have Kareem number 2. You know what I mean? You know, my man, Magic should be out there. If not, you know, Kareem's done so much. I would never disrespect Kareem's career. Put in Magic, you know, above him because he's done so much, you know, for the league. But you have to understand, you have to get credit to where credit is due. You know what I mean? So you know, he's done a lot. He's done a lot. So Magic's number 1. They have Steph Curry number 2, and it you know, hey, I don't think they have Steph Curry number 2. They have Allen Iverson number 3, Oscar Robertson number 4. They have Jerry Russ number 5, Isaiah Thomas number 6, John Stockton number 7, Chris Paul number 8, Steve Nash number 9, and Jason Kidd number 10. Those ranking to me are not, you know. After Magic is arguably the greatest ever, right? Greatest ever. But you don't put Steph Curry. I understand the championship, but you don't put Steph Curry over Isaiah Thomas at number 6. Steph Curry number 2. You know what I mean? You don't do that. You know what I mean? Just watching my son, you know, run. He's practicing with the team. Yeah, you don't put Steph Curry number 2 as the greatest point guard of all time over Isaiah Thomas. I think Isaiah Thomas has done so much for the league. He's done so much. You know, one of the greatest point guard, if not I'm not putting him. See, Magic can play multiple positions. You know what I mean? But he was listed, drafted as a point guard. You know what I mean? So he could do multiple positions. You know, it's crazy to see a guy that tall, 6'8", 6'9", handling the ball like that. So, you know, and it's crazy. I'm not saying Chris Paul didn't do much. I'm not saying Allen Iverson didn't do something, you know, whatever. But you don't put Bob Cousy up there. And I think that's crazy to not have Bob Cousy. Bob Cousy was, you know, one of the greatest point guard, one of the greatest floor general ever. You know what I mean? Yeah, you could say he had Bill Russell, he had all that stuff. Whatever, you could say all that stuff he had, but Bob Cousy was you know, and yeah, you could say, hey, as a point guard, you know, as a floor general, he was the original floor general to me. You know what I mean? But you can say all that stuff when he had the Will Chamberlain, you know, all those guys. When he had all, you know, Bill Russell. I mean, when he had Bill Russell, who, you know, is arguably, you know, one of the greatest players ever on his team, dominating. You know, you can say a lot of things. But I don't know. I don't know how you don't have Bob Cousy up there. Bob Cousy was, you know, he's a solid player. You know what I mean? I'm just watching, the boys, practicing and see, okay, all right, making sure, because they haven't run a lap, so I'm checking that out. But yeah, there's no way you have a list like that. You don't put him. I was looking at this list. I show someone. A lot of time, man, people just say things just to say things, right? They don't know what they're saying. I show someone who was talking, bringing up Jordan, his greatness, whatever. I'm not saying Jordan's not great, but I was like, you know what? Let me reference something to him. I was like, yo, I cover LeBron's picture. I cover LeBron James' picture, right? And I said to him, you have a guy who's been in the league for 30 years. 23 years in the league. He's first in points. Right? First and steal. First in wins. First in minutes. Second in assists. Third in threes. I think you probably ranked 9 in blocks, all that stuff. So listing all those things. And I said, hey, what do you think of that? He said, oh man, he said, no, that's what I'm talking about. That guy should be the greatest of all time. He said, yeah, I'm a Jordan. He said he's a Jordan fan. Jordan's number one in his mind, but when you put these numbers, that guy should be the guy you just name, or the number you just put up. That guy should be the greatest of all time, not LeBron James. I said, well, and I removed the thing. He said, oh snap. He is quiet. So it shows you a lot of the Jordan fans are really haters. They're just trying to keep the relevant Jordan being, for Jordan to be relevant. And that's all it is, to sell shoes. That's all it is. They're not that good. Those, you know what I mean? But anyway, and I said to him, LeBron won 995 games without Kyrie. LeBron has won 995 wins, 995 games without Kyrie Irving, 983 games without AD, 947 games without Love, 909 games without Bosh, 908 games without Wade. Jordan only won 194 games without Pippen. So if you know what I mean? So when you're talking about greatness, come on, man. Come on, somebody. Anyway. Hey, there's a report, and I confirmed it. The Warriors have called the Lakers multiple times trying to trade for LeBron James. People disrespecting LeBron, saying, oh, nobody wants him, this and that. The Golden State Warriors have called the Lakers multiple times to trade for LeBron James. When people saw, because, oh, LeBron's not this, that, the Lakers don't want him, this and that. Anyway, let's move on, man. John Wall's, made 170, like that's a masterclass in business. Paul George, John Wall, those guys are when you talk about robbery, man, John Wall has made, 4.1 million dollars a game. John Wall signed a contract for $171 million, right? He signed in 2019, 4 years, $171 million. Let me break it down, right? Year one, 4 years, $171 million. My number might be wrong on breakdown, but I'm saying year one, he played 0 games. He made $38.3 million. Year two, he played 40 games. He made $41.3 million. Year three, he played 0 games. He made $44.3 million. Year four, he played 0 games. He made $40.9 million. He gave back $6.5 million on a buyout. Total, John Wall played 40 games for $165 million he earned. That's $4.1 million. You know, man, that's the first ballot Business Hall of Fame. I mean, listen, he for me, John Wall would tie with Paul George in terms of robbery. John Wall would tie with Paul George, and in terms of robbery, like what's going on. But hey, it is what it is, man. Marcellus Brown, Jaylen Brown died, was arrested for attempted murder after stabbing a youth football coach during a fight over a parking spot. Let me say this again. Marcellus Brown, Jaylen Brown died. I've been to a lot of games. I've been to a lot, because a lot of the kids was student athletes, of course. Been to a lot of football, basketball, whatever. I've been to a lot of stuff where parking is limited. Sometimes I show up in a car, right? Sometimes it's a truck, whatever. Parking is limited. And you see people, at 6'3", 305, I've never had an issue, with somebody approaching me with some stuff. Usually people talk crazy when I'm in a car. They might want me to speed, whatever. They talk crazy, and then we happen to be at the light together. Those guys who were doing mouth off, whatever, they turn their face, or put the window up. They don't face me. I had a guy told me to come out of the car. Did I pull over? I'm not gonna say that on camera. I'm not gonna say he ran. I'm not gonna say that. But there's a lot of people who mouth off who say crazy stuff that they shouldn't. But it is what it is. But yeah, Marcellus Brown, a fighter over a parking spot, stabbed a guy over a parking spot. And at some point, man, you gotta come on. You gotta be the bigger person sometimes. Sometimes it's difficult. There's a lot of situations you gotta walk away from. Is it worth it? Sometimes you gotta say to yourself, is it worth it? And sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But you gotta pick your battles to realize, hey, this is not something I wanna be part of, and you move on. Anyway, man, Gilbert Arenas, we made a joke. I'm gonna say it here. He said, hey, he dropped 60 on Kobe. Dominic, we were talking. I don't remember where I saw Gilbert Arenas, whatever. I was coming out of the luncheon. I saw Gilbert Arenas, whatever. And he said, I saw your podcast, man. I said, yeah, I'm just trying it out. It's not where it is yet. I haven't put the time into, he said, yeah, but you got 4K subscribers. I said, yeah. People are watching. So, they're not watching. There's a lot of people who have subscribed to the channels. They did that just to support me, which I appreciate it, of course. But they're not watching. They're not watching. If you want to, because one time I posted, and then sometimes YouTube, the algorithm don't go through. YouTube don't push the channel as they should. You know, I have people that say, "Wow, I found this channel. I'm glad you're able to say this, you're able to say that." And sometimes I mumble, sometimes I'm nervous as heck. So you know what I mean. But it is what it is, man. But where are these kids? Yeah, I'm watching. Okay, they all together. They all training together, getting ready, man, getting the rep. Yeah, they put the 11U and the 12U's together. They all getting that together. It's gonna be fun. But anyway, what I'm saying is, and I said, yo, man, you should give my podcast a shout out. He said, yo, you're not big yet. Gilbert Arenas, man, shout out, man. You know, he said you're not big yet, but when we talk, he said, hey, he dropped Gilbert Arenas dropped 60 points on Kobe Bryant. Dominic Wilkins dropped 50. You know, Dominic was there. Dominic Wilkins dropped 57 on Michael Jordan. Nobody ever dropped that much on LeBron James. He looked like, I'm talking about defenders, he's the better defenders. You know what I mean? You know, because he said, yo, when you look at it, which is facts, LeBron James is better defender than he said LeBron James is a better defender, more and stronger and good shot blocker. Yeah, of course, than Michael and Kobe combined. So you gotta give credit to these guys, man. Hey, as a father, man, I know I'm jumping from topic to topic. We're moving on, as you know, and I wasn't trying to make this video long, but hey, it is what it is. For my truck drivers out there who's driving, we say, Rick, man, we want you to make long videos, man. You know, we want to listen to you when we driving. You know, it's good. For my truck drivers out there, I am sorry for stuttering sometimes. I'm sorry. I'm nervous, but for my truck drivers out there, let me say this, man. Well, for everybody, as a father, Deion Sanders should go to the Cleveland Browns and demand they cut Shedeur Sanders. Yes, I saw the Raiders traded for Kenny Pickett. You know what I mean? You know, Tom Brady, man, that's ridiculous. You put Shedeur Sanders out there, he's not gonna do anything in Cleveland. You put Shedeur Sanders out there, and with the third string players that got cut. The Cleveland, he was running for his life out there. And I'm saying to myself, the Cleveland Browns, are you trying to? Now the league told everybody to not trade for this. This is where the problem is going on in the league, man. The league, Roger Goodell, and the entire NFL told team, do not trade, do not draft Shedeur Sanders. We want to teach him a lesson. We want him to go out and draft. Cleveland decided to pick him, but then they mishandling the whole thing. You put this kid out there to embarrass him after doing what he did. You try to embarrass him. You put him with third string players that couldn't even make the team. Practice squad players. They had him out there. They had Shedeur Sanders out there where the Browns cut offensive tackle Sebastian Gutierrez, center Bucky Williams, right? Javion Cohen, D'Artagnan Tinsley, whatever his name is. Like you know what I mean? The only player that stayed with Killian Ziller, whatever his name is. So you put him with third string players that couldn't do anything, and you expected him to do what? As a father, I would have demanded you release him. You're wasting his time. You are wasting this man's time. Hey, anyway, man, shout out to Moxie Ball. Moxie Ball, 5'3", 130 pounds. Moxie Ball, 5'3", 130 pounds. Played 14 years in the NBA. But you losers tell me a 6'8", 260 LeBron James couldn't play in the 90s? You guys are losers, man. You know, shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs. Since taking over in 2013, he has Andy Reid has completely transformed the franchise, going 171 wins and 10 across regular season and playoffs, winning three Super Bowls. He turned Kansas City into a modern day dynasty. Without Andy Reid, you don't have Patrick Mahomes. To make sure to get Patrick Mahomes, right? I remember when they gave Patrick Mahomes 10 years, $500 million. That was the biggest deal in the NFL. Right now, he's underpaid, but they did a great thing for him. They made sure they gave him they gave him 10 years, $500 million. You give this guy $500 million at the time was the biggest deal. But he's overpaid. He's underpaid rather. But at the time that was the best thing for him. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they were thinking when Andy Reid became available, they were hesitant to sign him. He came in the building, they were letting him walk. The Hunt family decided, hey, listen, let's just sign him. You saw what happened, of course, with the Philadelphia Eagles. It was time. It was time for him to go to start fresh, and he did. He went in there to Kansas City, and they gave him the freedom to do whatever he wanted. They gave him the freedom to do whatever he wanted. And he's done an amazing job. You know what I mean? So man, when you look at the golden era, when you look at what he's done in Kansas City, when you taking Patrick Mahomes, changing that offense. Defense has always been his problem, but offense has never been that problem. And transform that organization to where they are, to be what they are. That's amazing. You have to give him credit. 171 win, 171 and 10. He's done an amazing job. So but I know it wasn't popular at the time for Kansas City, but he did what he had to do. There are reports that the Dallas Cowboys offered Micah Parsons, right, all-pro linebacker, 5 years, $203.5 million, and $147.5 million guaranteed. Those are false. The whole thing with Jerry Jones saying that, said, oh, he's done this, he traded whatever, he did this one. That's false. He didn't do that, and that's a problem, with the league office. I have a big problem with the NFLPA Association. You know what I mean? You're allowing, which is the same thing. Talking to Darrelle Revis, he said the same thing. The union has never been for the person, for the players or working man. All the unions always been with management. This side with management because they know the bonus, all the stuff, which is crazy. Which is crazy. You gotta look at everything that they doing is siding with management. You know what I mean? Siding with management. Because there's no way that you have a player with Michael Parsons. Jerry Jones, he's very vocal. He has a podcast, he's vocal, he's saying whatever. We in a different era. Right? Players can tap in directly to their fans. Jerry Jones wanted him to be quiet, but Jerry Jones himself have a voice. He have his, he's able to tap in with his fans. You know what I mean? So, but this is the time where the union should have stepped in, and they're not. And at some point you gotta say to yourself, for the players, do you vote? Do you want someone that will represent you? And so far, they're not doing that. Hey, shout out to Bobby Bonilla, man. Bobby Bonilla, in 2001, every year, July 1st, July 1st in New York, and within the Mets organization, is Bobby Bonilla Day. Bobby Bonilla, the franchise owe him, the Mets owe him, Bobby Bonilla, $5.9 million in 2000, right? Instead of paying him at once, instead of the Mets paying Bobby Bonilla their entire money at once, they decided, hey, let's not pay him at once, but they agreed to delay the money. Because they delayed the $5.8 million, the $5.8 million then they add interest, 8% interest, right? You know what I mean? So the $5.8 million at 8% interest it grew to $30 million. You know what I mean? So they could have paid Bobby Bonilla $5.9 million. I'm sorry, $5.9 million, which is $6 million when you look at it, right? 100,000 shy, right? So they owe Bobby Bonilla $5.9 million. They could have paid him. They decided we're not gonna pay you that $5.9 million up front. We're gonna delay. Let's hold the payment. We'll pay you every year. We'll give you $1 million a year, whatever, until we could whatever, And that money grew. That $5.9 million carry 8% interest. Which put them at $30 million. So a lot of time, man, I don't know who sometimes you look at these organizations, you're like, who's running these organizations, right? Where you could have paid you owe someone $5.9 million, you ended up paying you pay him $30 million. So at this rate, they're not gonna finish paying Bobby Bonilla until 2035. Which is a lot of bad management, man. His money keep growing. I don't know why they don't say, hey, let me just write him a check and finish this. It is what it is, man. I know that they taking that as a loss. They reported it as a loss. So they collecting from that for themselves. But hey, it is, they're making money too, so it's not it. Anyway, last night, Angel Reese, you can say whatever you want about Angel Reese. All right, you can say whatever you want about her. But last night, she recorded the 46 double of her career, passing Tina Charles, who had 45, the most wow, 45 for the most player first two seasons in the NBA history. Yeah, they had the first two seasons in NBA history. She passed Tina Charles 46. Wow, 46 double. And last year she could have broke that record, but she did it. Wow. You know what I mean? So Tina Charles, by the way, Tina Charles, I'm looking at the numbers, right? I just Googled that. Tina Charles did that in 78 games. Angel Reese reached that in 61 games. So in less games, she was able to do that. So shout out to her. No matter what's going on, you gotta give her credit, man. You know, hey, let me say this, man. Loyalty, loyalty, man, finally got his reward, man. There's this guy, old guy, Kevin Ford. Kevin Ford worked at Burger King for 27 years, never called out, never been sick. Rain, sleet, or snow, he's there. Old man. And he retired. For his 27 years, he's been working with Burger King, for Burger King, for 27 years. Never took a sick day, never called out, right? And as a reward, his reward, they gave him a small goodie bag. People heard that. They did a GoFundMe for him, and his daughter did that. His daughter started a fundraiser for him and raised $400,000. And he's with that $400,000, he bought a food truck. He's about to open up his own food truck. He's gonna have both American favorites and traditional Filipino dishes because his wife Filipino. But shout out to him, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. It's a shame sometimes you work for somebody for this long, and all they give you is a goodie bag. But hey, it is what it is, man. There's a list of athletes who dominate multiple eras. They have LeBron James. LeBron James dominated the Jordan era and 3-point era, and you can see when LeBron James came in the league, he wasn't that much of a sniper. You know what I mean? So he's not only dominated the Jordan era, but coming in the 3-point, he's able to do that. Of course they have a number one. You have Tom Brady from 2000 to 2021. They have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He dominated the 70s and the 80s. They have Cristiano Ronaldo. Manchester United, Real Madrid, whatever. So they have Serena Williams, the 90s to 2000, Tiger Woods. Pre-post injury, they had Lionel Messi. Well, LeBron number one. They had Tom Brady number two. They have number three. You have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Number four, you have Ronaldo. Number five, Serena Williams. Number six, Tiger Woods. Number seven, Lionel Messi. Number eight, you have Gordie Howe, whatever his name is. Tim Duncan, number 9, and Nolan Ryan, number 10. That's accurate, but I think Anyway, CBS recently released the top 25 player of the century, and you're gonna be surprised. I think it's a good list. They have LeBron James as number one, the top 25 player of the century. They have LeBron James as number one, Steph Curry number 2, Tim Duncan number 3, Nikola Jokic number 4, Shaquille O'Neal number 5, Kobe Bryant number 6, Giannis Antetokounmpo number 7, Kevin Durant number 8, Kevin Garnett number 9, Dirk Nowitzki number 10, Dwayne Wade number 11, Chris Paul number 12, Kawhi Leonard number 13, Steve Nash is number 14, number 15 they have James Harden, number 16 they got Luka Doncic, number 17 Jason Kidd, Number 18, you have Dwight Howard. Number 19, they put Anthony Davis. Number 20, they have Allen Iverson. 21, Tracy McGrady. Number 22, they have Damian Lillard. 23, Jason Tatum. 24, they put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Number 25, they put Russell Westbrook. And, those are good numbers. Those are good players who's doing a lot of things, man. So shout out to them as well for maintaining those rankings. A court ordered Miami Dolphins star Tyreek Hill was married, right? Was married, and then, of course, the divorce. The court has ordered Miami Dolphins star Tyreek Hill to provide his ex-wife, Kita Vaccaro, with $20,000 to $50,000 per month, and spending money to maintain her lifestyle during the divorce proceeding. Now, people don't understand. When you're rich, right? You start dating a woman, you married her, whether she work or not, right? You're a millionaire, billionaire, whatever it is, and you have to be able to maintain that lifestyle when you go into divorce, because you put her to a new lifestyle that she wasn't used to. She got used to. Your job is to maintain that. So this is what it is. Player don't understand. In addition, they said the court said Tyreek Hill must make a one-time payment of $500,000 plus to cover. Wow, he must give a one-time payment to cover one-time payment of $500,000 to cover $457,000 of her legal fees, and provide $100,000 for a new car after a request to use for a request to use a $200,000 Bentley was denied. The then wife wanted the $200,000 Bentley. It was denied, so Tyreek Hill had to do that, plus to cover her lawyer fees. So she got the lawyers, our lawyers, the fees. That's crazy. I mean, Vaccaro also retained exclusive use to their $5.5 million condominium, where Hill responsible to cover all the social costs, mortgage, insurance, utility, and internet and health insurance for her and their daughters. Now, it's expensive, so you gotta be careful when you married. But this is what it is. That's the life. You know what I mean? You gotta maintain that life, man. We're gonna continue. We're gonna talk about what we're gonna talk about soon. The greatest, the best scoring teenagers of all time. We're gonna talk about that, but I'm just covering some stuff right now. I'm looking at the Lakers, man. The Lakers. Of course, I mentioned the Lakers should get Malik Beasley, give him another chance, right? With last time Malik Beasley got a chance in the NBA, that was COVID, and he tested positive for COVID, and they voided that contract, right? Because they wanted him to not hang out, to do whatever he was out there doing, allegedly doing whatever. So, but I think they should give him put some stipulation on the contract, but give Michael Beasley a shot, man. Come on, Lakers, you need players. The Lakers should acquire Andrew Wiggins, man. He would become the best perimeter defender that they could need if you give you trade for Wiggins. Let me say this is not sports related, but in a new legal filing, Universal Music Group (UMG) has stated on record that they possess news, right? They possess reports and documents concerning Drake's relationship with allegedly. Let me say allegedly. That's what it's reported, but I'm going to say allegedly here on this channel. Documents Drake with behaviors around minors. So they have, Drake is coming at them, They say they have video, they have document, allegedly they have documents, everything with Drake with minors. Anyway, man, what you tuned in for was the only teenagers in the history of the NBA. The only teenagers in the NBA history to average 20 plus points a game. Right? 20 plus points a game. LeBron James, number one, with 21.9 per game. Carmelo Anthony, 21 points a game. Luka Doncic, 20.9 points a game. Kevin Durant, 20.3 points a game. These four future Hall of Fame are the only players to average that. That's why when you look at the greatest teenagers to come in the NBA and still dominate. I'm not saying Kevin Garnett didn't come in and dominate, right? He came in, but he had to work his way towards that. Kobe Bryant had to work his way towards that. You know what I mean? But the teenagers who came, the four teenagers, the moment they came in the NBA, they were expected to dominate, and they dominate. So those guys, they did what they had to do. So of course, like I said, you have LeBron James, you have Kevin Durant, you have Carmelo Anthony, you have Luka Doncic. Those guys actually came in. People don't give them credit. People trash them. They don't give them the credit that they deserve. But those guys actually, transformed the league. They actually did everything they need to do to win championship. To help their team. All right, to help the team. So you gotta give credit to those guys. I feel that no, I'm not gonna talk about this because it's crazy, man. But anyway, man, shout out to you, shout out to all, man. Sports Talk, like, subscribe, and share, man. Like I said, the greatest players. You gotta give credit to the greatest players. Football season is about to start. I'm excited to see what's coming. I'm excited to see the future. I'm excited for all that's coming. Anyway, man, Sports Talk, like, subscribe, and share, man. Peace out. Peace out to you. For all the truck drivers driving on the road, shout out to you, because without you, we wouldn't get the goods that we getting. Without you, the medicine, all the stuff that the lumber, all the stuff that to build home, to do whatever. Shout out to you. You're doing an amazing job, and thank you for listening to me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your subscription, the views, all that stuff. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. I hope, I know people asking for this. Hey, Rick, give me those long videos. So I decided to make it long for you, to give you some stuff to talk about. Give Michael Beasley a shot. Lakers, give Michael Beasley a shot. Give him another opportunity to make it. I watch my Jets. The Jets. It's gonna be a rough season. Let's just say that. It's gonna be a rough season. It's gonna be a rough season. It is what it is, man. Anyway, man. Sports Talk. Like, subscribe, and share. Peace out.